What is up, everybody, and welcome to What Makes This Play Great, where I take a play and break it down frame by frame to show you all the little details of what's going on and how the play works. Today we're going to be diving into the Michael Porter Playbook. That's right, Malone referenced it in the postgame on Wednesday that there were certain plays that he's put in for Michael Porter Jr. to get him points.
Yeah, you know, we're trying to, we have some, like a little Michael Porter package of plays, if you will, that we can get him the ball in different locations, different actions.
So what is the Michael Porter Jr. playbook? Well, there's 3 plays that the Denver Nuggets run that are designed to get him the ball specifically. He's involved in a lot of different actions as a floor spacer, read and react, screener, whatever. But there's 3 plays that are really go-tos for him. The first one is C-corner, which we've covered in this series before. You can go back and check out old episodes of What Makes This Play Great if you want to see that. They utilize him in the corner option, and it's a really, really effective way to use his size and his scoring ability coming off of a screen towards the basket. It's also been discussed in detail on The List, which DNVR subscribers can check out after every game. But there's 2 other plays that I think are really interesting that the Nuggets have gone to that are designed to get him the ball on the left block. Peel and 4-up. The first one, Peel, is actually a throwback to Danilo Gallinari's era here in the Denver Nuggets under Michael Malone. A play they used to run for him and designed to get him the ball in the same spot on that left block.
It made a tremendous amount of difference, and Mike Malone is a really excellent defensive coach. It's one of the play sets that Minnesota went over in their shoot-around. Today it's a Danilo Gallinari play. Gallinari is a difficult matchup for anybody.
Peel they started using, the first time they used this was several months ago, back all the way in the New Orleans game at New Orleans, Michael Porter Jr.'s very first game, but they only ran it 2 times and then didn't come back to it for quite a while. Over the last 10 games, they've made it a big part of their offense, and it's one of the go-to plays to kind of get him going. Let's take a look. You're going to notice the play begins with the ball handler bringing the ball down on the left side, and you clear out that left side, running the left wing all the way over into the right corner. You get a double screen for Michael Porter Jr. on the right elbow, and he's flashing across the paint over to that left side. If you can hit him on the run, Monte Morris will look for him to get that curling towards the basket. But if not, you get him on that post or mid-post area with the defender at his back. From there, he's able to face up and attack one-on-one. Let's see another example of this in that same exact game. Here he's coming across. This time, no hesitation, goes right into the shooting motion. So this was a play that was in the Denver Nuggets playbook all the way back then, but it wasn't specifically for Michael Porter Jr. It feels like this was Michael Malone just testing out different looks and seeing what works. And later on, as recently as 10 games ago, this was the one that they said, okay, we like this. Let's try to really attack it and see how he does. So let's look at it more recently now. If we just go back to the Clippers game a few games ago, you're going to see Jamal Murray on that left wing goes through. Mason Plumlee steps up and sets that ball screen. Instead of a double screen, they're just using the one here. And what I like about this play is instead of curling down to the block like he had done previously, this time, the Nuggets are going to send him to a ball screen on Monte Morris on that left wing. It's the exact same action. He's got a sort of read. Sometimes the coaching staff will tell him deliberately which one to do, and I believe that was the case on this one because the Clippers like to switch every ball screen. So right here, as he sets that screen, you're going to see Lou Williams switches onto him. A much more favorable one-on-one matchup than Mo Harkless. He's a lot smaller, and you can see Michael Porter Jr. can turn and face and shoot right over the top. Lou Williams has no chance of guarding that one. Look at another example from, I believe, the same game. You're going to see him come over, set the ball screen, get the switch, and now you're going to notice the Clippers send a helper right away because of how much of a mismatch that is. They send Montrezl Harrell over. Michael Porter makes a little move, and this lends itself right into a quick give and go out at the three-point line, drains the three. Look at another example. I talked about that curl option. This is in a previous game. Different defensive scheme, so Denver's going to emphasize a different part of this. You cut Beasley through, you get that screen, although it's hardly a screen at this point. Ball screen up top, hit the roller, and you get the and one. So this is a play that Denver has been going to that just utilizes an early screen from Michael Porter Jr., get him over on that left block in his sweet spot, and let him operate. But there's another play in the Nuggets playbook that they've been going to that I think is really, really similar. Here's the Pacers game, which was one of the first breakout games of the year, but the best game of the year for Michael Porter Jr. And let's take a look at them running this one. This one I would call 4-up. Denver probably has different terminology for this, and they might even be part of the same set. So, for example, you might call this one that peel action, which is the cross screen from Plumlee for Michael Porter Jr. coming across. It's a peel action. That action, they might call both plays peel this, peel up, peel down, whatever. Down usually meaning in the post, up usually meaning a ball screen. So they might have, this might be part of the same set, or it might have completely different terminology. But you're going to see on this one, rather than running the guard through, you enter it onto a wing, and you set that second guard over as a screener. So now he receives that first screen from Plumlee, a second screen, in this case from Jamal Murray, and you're looking for that quick curl to the basket, which he gets and gets a dunk on. Very similar action. You're aiming to get him again on that left block, but this time he's going quickly for the dunk. Let's see another example of this one from way earlier in the season. Again, this was against the Atlanta Hawks about a month ago. You see that ball screen, defense lifts. They don't get it to him on the curl, but instead he once again gets to isolate on that left block, raises up. This time it doesn't go down. Another example. They almost always have it for Michael Porter Jr. going to that left side. In fact, I don't think I've seen a single example of this anywhere other than going that direction towards the left block. And of course, maybe the most famous play of the entire season for Michael Porter Jr. comes off of this exact set. Feeling it a little bit in Indiana, gets on that left block, manages to step back, drains the beautiful three. Now that's the early read for Michael Porter Jr., and he's been killing it on this. This is basically calling his number, make something out of a one-on-one if you don't have the quick curl to the basket. But what happens if he doesn't like his positioning, or if the defense sends a double? How does the play unfold after that? Well, let's take a look. Here we have that same action, the Plumlee screen, the Monte screen. He gets down to that spot, but he's not open. So the ball reverses up to the top to Mason Plumlee, and now we run the secondary action. What's the backside action for that? You're going to see Monte releases, Jamal Murray releases, and then as the ball comes to the other side, Mason Plumlee now goes over and sets a second screen for Michael Porter Jr. coming the other direction. He curls it to the basket on this one and scores. We'll watch it again, another example where they get to that secondary action. You're going to see he gets the ball here, they reverse it, Murray goes through, there's that second screen, and this time he steps up for a three, but it's no good. And then lastly, this is a little bit, this is probably a bad option, but this is just an example of how you try to make something out of it. And this is earlier in the season as well, but you get it down on the block, didn't like what he had, tries to make a move, and he just releases to the corner and then jacks up a three. Not a great shot. So that's the playbook. Those two plays, it doesn't seem like much, but that was actually every single example over the last 9 games of the Denver Nuggets running this, in which Michael Porter Jr. took a shot out of that exact set. They do have other examples of it, but not when Michael Porter Jr. went up with a shot. I wanted you to see it because this is one way that Michael Porter has been able to really get action in the half court off of plays they call for him. He's got a lot of putback dunks. He's got some kickouts off of being a floor spacer on somebody else's action or just in the continuity of the offense. But those are the examples of how he has scored when they have called it for him. To end, I'm going to give you a really funny example here, and this is where one of the stories on Michael Porter Jr. has been that he's struggling with the playbook. You could tell on the court sometimes he's not sure where he's supposed to be. Defensively, this is certainly true. But those two plays are very, very similar, but they're not identical. Here's an example of Michael Malone calling that exact play for Michael Porter Jr., but Michael misreading it. He goes to run peel when they wanted him to run 4-up. And just keep your eye on the bench and on Michael Malone. Right here, when he realizes he blew the play up. Michael Porter Jr. ends up with an air ball. Monte Morris saves the day. So that's how the Denver Nuggets have managed to get Michael Porter Jr. involved and up his scoring. Over the last handful of games, he's shooting 66% over the last 10. 66% from the field and over 40% from the three-point line, 42% from the three-point line. He's just been on fire. And remember, this is the first time all year that Denver has gone to a go-to play for Michael Porter Jr. In the coming weeks, and certainly throughout the rest of the year, I suspect that Denver will come up with more sort of pet plays specifically designed to get him involved. Whether it's in an isolation action like this, or maybe in a 2-man or 3-man game, they'll start to give him more and more looks that are designed for him to be aggressive. And I think that's going to be one of the keys to sort of unlocking his offensive potential. Give him the green light in a contained environment where he knows what his reads are. He's done a great job with it so far, and I hope you've enjoyed this breakdown of those two plays.